Welcome back to Talk Pittsburgh. Next week, some big named artists are coming to town to celebrate our city's rich Black music legacy. Joining me now to talk about Pittsburgh's Black Music Festival is the producer of the event, that B. Marshall, and then also Dr. Nelson Harrison. So thank you guys so much for joining. During the break, we were talking about love for music, and he was telling me I have to come out. So I want to know all about it. So you have to tell me and let everyone know. So how did the Black Music Festival even get started?
Well, thanks for having us, first of all. We started the Black Music Festival as a continuation of other Black festivals that were held here in the city of Pittsburgh. In 1920, one of the first promoters that held a festival here was Sellers McGee Hall, and he held a festival up on the Hill District. It was a jazz festival. And then in 1964, another great jazz artist was Mary Lou Williams. She held the first Black jazz festival here. And in 2011, I think it's the Cultural Trust, started the Pittsburgh International Jazz Festival. So we started our festival in 2018 down at Point State Park in honor of Black music in the city of Pittsburgh.
I love that. So next Thursday is when this is happening.
Correct.
So what can people expect?
So our music festival is based on the three primary genres of Black music, which is jazz, gospel, then R&B. So on Thursday we have our jazz night, and then on Friday we have our gospel night. Then on Saturday we have our R&B night. Our jazz nights kicks off with who's coming the first jazz night? Will Downing.
Will Downing.
Nice.
Will Downing, and then there's also the Blackbirds and a gentleman named Adam Hockley.
Awesome. Okay, so you are a huge jazz musician. You know so much about jazz and the history. What is something people might not know about how big jazz is in Pittsburgh?
Okay. Well, I'm a resident historian of Pittsburgh jazz. Pittsburgh, the first century of jazz, is one of the biggest cities in America. And more innovators came out of Pittsburgh, small town, than any other city in jazz. They always talk about New Orleans and Chicago and New York.
That's what I would think of.
They forgot about Pittsburgh, and it was Pittsburghers who influenced the whole first generation of jazz, starting with Earl Father Hines, Billy Strayhorn, Mary Lou Williams, Kenny Clark, Art Blakey, all those people are from Pittsburgh. Ahmed Jamal, those people are from Pittsburgh. And people don't know they're from Pittsburgh.
George Benson.
George Benson, he's of my generation.
I love that.
Yeah.
So growing up in Pittsburgh, how did this shape you to become the...
Well, I've been playing in this market for 70 years. So I started my first nightclub when I was 13. Wow. And it was the music of the community. It was the soundtrack of the community. So I was fortunate to have been close enough to the people who invented the music that we were directly mentored by them. So there was no such thing as music school for jazz. So we played classical music in high school. I was at Westinghouse High. We won a state championship playing classical music in 1957. That was no big deal. Jazz was a big deal. And so I was able to learn and play with my idols.
Oh, wow.
Over the years, Billy Eckstein, Father Hines, I played with them. Wow. And they were my friends, you know, and they told me and taught me. So that's why I know whereof I speak, because I didn't get it out of a book or a school.
So one jazz musician that pops in my head, Miles Davis Jr., right?
Miles Davis.
Miles
Davis, yeah, Miles Davis.
But he was here at one of the first jazz festivals that Mary Lou Williams started in the 1960s, 64, something like this. She had Sarah Vaughan and who were some other people that were here. So like Dr. Nelson's just saying, jazz, people from Pittsburgh actually influenced a lot of the greater jazz people across the world.
That's awesome. How's the festival grown over the years?
So actually when we started in 2018, maybe we had 1,000 people or maybe 3,500. Last year we had 42,000 people.
What?
And we are providing an economic impact within the city of Pittsburgh of over $2 million for our 3-day festival. So it's growing very big and very fluent. We get a lot of people coming in from out of town for this event because it's a free event that has these top-notch players and entertainers.
The largest festival we had was in 1982.
Yes.
When George Wein, who was a big producer of the Newport Jazz Festival and all that, he brought it to Pittsburgh as the Cool Jazz Festival. And Ella Fitzgerald drew 100,000 people in Point Park. It was 1982. Filled up the Benedum and the Hines Hall for a week. with the greatest artists that were out there. It was a magnificent
So
festival.
as you can see, we have a rich history in music here in the city of Pittsburgh.
I don't know why I didn't think of Ella Fitzgerald, because I have my dad's old record and he has Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, wow.
And I have that sitting as the front record there. That's amazing. Okay, so what do people know about the festival? So is this going to be bring your own chair type of thing?
So that's one of the important things, questions that you needed to ask. So you want to bring your lawn chairs.
Nice.
You don't want to stand around. Each day it starts at 11 o'clock. So the festival involves food vendors, item vendors, speakers, different type of entertainment. On Friday, we transition into our gospel day. So we're bringing in the Clark sisters, Karen Clark Sheard and Dorena Clark. And also we have an artist called Leandra Johnson. She's one of the upcoming gospel singers. On Saturday, we transition into our R&B day. The R&B day is going to feature Rose Royce. We're going to have Ruffins, and then we'll have Music Soul Child. But part of our R&B day is also going to be a tribute to the 50-year anniversary of hip hop.
Okay.
And we're bringing in DJ Manny Fresh, who's going to bring some about that hip hop history that we've been searching for in the city of Pittsburgh.
I'm excited. I'm going to see you down there, that's for sure. You guys
Most
are
definitely.
fascinating. Thank you so much for being here today.
We appreciate the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Of course.